Welcome to Command Stack, a podcast about Armada news and events.
All right, welcome to Command Stack. I'm Ryan.
I'm Ken.
And I'm Garrett.
And today we have a mini pod talking about a Liverpool store championship. We were sent this information. We wanted to cover the pod. And so we have enough space to cover the top three. Anything else to talk about before we kind of just dive in the tournament, or should we just go right on ahead, guys?
I think we're pretty good. News has been a little light, but there's been a lot of store championships coming around, and a lot right around the corner from what I'm gathering.
Yes. Yeah. So this at this Liverpool store championship, they had 16 fleets. So there was a world's ticket on the line, and the first place player was able to come away with their world's ticket. We have some limited stats for you guys. There was 3 Republic fleets, 6 Rebellion, 6 Empire, and 1 CIS. And store championship to store championship, numbers can fluctuate highly. We're not talking, large sample sizes. I wouldn't read too much into, stats in, one area of England where these are going on. So I just some, food for thought when you're thinking about if you're going to your own store championship, what you might be playing. But all right, so I'm going to cover the third place fleet. This is Andrew JD. He went 2-1. And then he was flying Rebellion, and he was flying an Agate list. And Agate is something I think we have seen a lot since Anakin has kind of left the building, or more
post points change.
Yes, this is very important. Post points change. So we see Agate. Agate is on a Providence class carrier with Ramus Antilles for 7 points, Durlin, Ordnance Expert, Sensor Team, auxiliary shield teams, engineering team, and quad laser turrets for a little fighter defense. And then two GR75s, one with Torn Far and parts resupply, and then one with Leia. And we're going to talk about Leia there, and munitions resupply. And then here you go. Not something you see too much. A non-Agate Starhawk Battleship Mark 1 with the Unity title, Whale Explicics, Expert Shield Techs, Ordnance Experts, Quad Laser Turrets, LTTs, and PDIC. So 4-ship Rebel, no fighters. What do you guys think of this rad list?
That's really interesting. I think they're channeling lately we've been seeing a lot of like 2 larges, right? Not a big fighter screen. And they're like, well, how can I just take the Rebel upgrade cards and ships and do my own 2 large? And this is clever. The Providence is really interesting because usually you don't see it outfitted like basically a battleship, right? Because everyone tries to use it they try to use it as a carrier. But no, here, I mean, we've got Ord Expert Sensor Team, and then Ramus. So like it's chuck and dice with dice fixing that Sensor Team. And then they got a plan for the squadrons, right? They got LTTs, Pidix, and then the quad laser turrets, right, on both ships, which is pretty cool, right? You can counter the squadron, they shoot you. And then the parts resupply, Torn Far for the blue rerolls. It's obviously a brawling list, right? Like there's no trickery going on here. Because can we say the objectives he brought?
Yeah. Let's get to that. And all this can be found on longshanks.com. They is this service that hosted this tournament. But the assault objectives, and let me give a shout out to the store as well, where this was just Athena Games, I think, in Athena Games. Anyway, so the objectives for this were advanced gunnery, which is interesting, contested outpost, and solar corona.
With a 12-point bid, by the way.
Yes, that's the big part.
12-point bid.
So probably wanting to go second, I'm guessing, huh?
Yeah, to leverage their 2 larges, because they're probably going to pick solar or contested. And so, this is awesome, right?
Yeah,
This is a brawling list.
You rarely see Rebel double large. That is just something you don't see very much. And then when the Providence came out, I think we said on one of our episodes, the Providence with Aux Shield teams is pretty much like a Starhawk. Like it is tanky like a Starhawk with the 5 in the front, 5 shields in the front, and 4 shields on the side. Pretty cool.
Yep, and engineering team to boot.
I was gonna. That's exactly what I was gonna talk about. Was engineering team. It's a mean, aggressive list. You've got a little bit of work, like Garrett pointed out, in terms of starfighter cover. You're right. With the 12-point bid, you're probably wanting to go second. When you start looking at your objectives, contested outpost, solar corona as a point, you're going to be out deployed by pretty much every other fleet, because generally your fleets are going to have 7 or 8 deployments. This one's only got 4. So you have solar corona, your opponent's down before you get your first ship out. You know exactly how to place your stuff. Contested outpost, you know where they're going to want to go. So again, you're able to deploy to work with the objective. Advanced gunnery, I mean, you do not want to face a star with advanced gunnery. And not having a gate on there is kind of interesting. But what I'm looking at, Unity gives you another redirect, which you can only get on the Mark 1, I believe, correct? With Unity?
Yep.
Yeah. No, Unity can go on either one.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, Unity can go on either one. It's the other 2 titles that are set for Mark 2, I think. No, Concord and Amity are Mark 1. Unity can go on either one. That's what it is. I knew it was one way or the other, right? But you're gaining an extra defense token on the Starhawk, and then with Agate, you're gaining it on the Providence, which is just kind of neat when you think about it, right?
Yeah. I mean, in a world where everyone's like, we're seeing a lot of people take ships that take 2 defensive retrofits like that Providence, the CIS, EWS, and ECMs. They got nothing, right? They're just relying totally on Agate, Durlin, and then an extra defense token.
Yeah.
So I guess Agate gives you the, what is it, like the overpowered ECMs, I guess, but
in a way, yeah.
Yeah.
But the other advantage is that extra defense token. So rather than get 6 on your Starhawk, you've got 5 on your 2 larges. So you can easily, you've got brace, double redirect on the Starhawk, containing a salvo. And then you go to the Providence, you've got a brace, a salvo, a redirect, and an evade. And then you get an Agate token, which, what do you want to do? Do you want to throw in another brace? Maybe a redirect, probably be, I would think maybe another brace.
Probably brace for sure, yeah.
But I mean, and both of them are squadron killers. Double flak dice for both of them. Blue,
Torn far, yeah.
Right. So I mean, it's man, it's a nasty. I kind of want to fly this.
That's a good idea. Like, obviously, he's flying in a box, right? Like, you can't attack one without getting hit by both. Both super dangerous. And in a world where he can't get shot by 2 onagers on the other side of the table.
That's the key, right?
That's why this exists, right?
Yeah, that's what makes it viable, is the non-onager meta. It is a tank list, but when you think it doesn't look like Andrew faced any heavy squadron lists, but I also think it matters too much, because the best squadron list will do about 8 to 12 damage a turn, and with engineering teams and a repair dial, and with that munitions or the parts resupply, you're looking at 8 every turn, 8 engineering, so that's 4 repairs, and then Durlin is 5. So of your 8 damage with your squad,
and ESTs, yeah,
5 of it's gone, plus your brace if you want to use your brace for taking two squad damage to 1 or something like that. Plus you have that evade, don't forget, on the Providence at least, to help with the black dice doubles. So it is not, it probably can't take the heaviest bombing lists, but it's a matter of trading up for points, right? Like it's doing quad laser turrets every shot, right? So you're gonna have to shoot this thing 20 times with squads to kill it, and so that's 20 flak shots plus your own native double black flak, and hopefully you have some overlapping flak fields, which I think is critical to this list, is to set that up. So it is this is very clever, and it's very cool to see a Rebel double large.
With 2 ships that everyone always likes to downplay.
Yeah.
When was the last time we really saw this? Was it back in the days of the double pickle? Where we would
Before
see
my
2
time.
larges?
I mean, I think you could say Radis, like but Radis doesn't really count, I feel like. Radis is cheating. I've long said that as a Radis player, but yeah, I think double pickle maybe. Maybe there's not. I mean, Rebel larges in general, just to have one on the table, is a lot, right? Like this is the CR90 patch.
Yeah.
And here we go. Here we have 2 of them. I think Leia is really important as well to this list. Gives it hyper flexibility. You can change the dials of whichever one you choose, because these are heavy 3 and 4 dial ships. So you kind of Leia, when the Starhawk first came out, was an auto include, and then we kind of didn't see it too much after that. But Leia here is kind of getting down to the roots of it. And shout out for engineering team, which I think is the first time we've seen that upgrade on our podcast.
Quite possibly, yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. I'm sitting here looking through, all the upgrades and everything, just seeing, in terms of what's there, what we've seen, and yeah, this is kind of unique, I would say. But I like it. I really like it.
Yeah, if you're gonna build a Rebel no squad, this might be the way to do it. If you're not going to go with like slippery CR90s. So we got our objectives: advanced gunnery, contested outpost, and solar chrono. Which one are you guys taking?
Solar.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with that. I'm going solar, because I do not want to face advanced gunnery Starhawk. And if I'm right, advanced gunnery, they choose.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
each player chooses which ship.
Theirs is way better.
Yeah, I'm thinking most wanted, where second player chooses the most wanted ships. Yeah, I double shot from a Starhawk is just, especially to get close in the front. Ow.
Oh no, I've seen that take down an onager in the double shots. I mean, right? You just accuracy the brace, and a ton of damage gets through.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I would almost always take someone's contested outpost. I think the deployment disadvantage of that is huge, but I wouldn't here, because the way I build fleets, I could probably get 1 large. I would feel pretty confident. I'll get 1, but I'm not getting both.
Yeah, and this guy's gonna park, and it's gonna hurt.
Right, and I'll probably go after the Providence, right, and I'll get my 156 points. But he got his 120 from contested outpost, because it's got just 4 shield dials with the Starhawk on there, and whatever he killed, right? So solar chrono all the way, easy peasy. Very cool list.
Yeah, super cool. I gotta show this to my Rebel friend. All right.
All right, so who's doing number 2?
I think that's me. So fleet number 2. This is James' fleet, who is Malador 888, I believe.
Who's James? Who's Malador?
See, I was going to say, we have seen James before. In fact, we had a great opportunity to talk to him at Worlds, because if memory serves, he kind of won that.
He holds the crown, the belt.
He does. And Worlds is around the corner, so clearly James is thinking of a variety of different things he can do. And I'm guessing that his Worlds fleet is not going to be this. But he's got.
He already has a ticket. He already had a ticket at the time of this tournament.
So clearly he's just testing things out. But so for starters, this is an MSU fleet, very clearly, with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ships, 2 squadrons. So let's go through this. We've got a Hammerhead torpedo corvette as the flagship, with Leia Organa and Chart Officer. So, okay. And then we have 3 TRC-90s. So for those at home that are not familiar with the Armada lingo, a TRC-90 is a CR90A with turbo laser reroute circuits. But there's a couple differences in each one. So the first one has Sabine Wren turbo laser reroute circuits, and the Jaina's Light title. So no obstruction here whatsoever. And, with Sabine, you are dropping prox mines. So, okay, we're starting to see kind of how we're going with this. The second CR90, again, turbo laser reroute circuits and Ezra Bridger. So now we're throwing, debris fields and asteroids all over the place, getting them in your way, not fun to contend with. But you don't care if your Jaina's Light or you get the chart officer on the Hammerhead. These third CR90, again, turbo laser reroute circuits, and 8R Talon. Now, normally you're sitting here looking at saying, well, 8R Talon, you're going to activate one squadron, maybe two with the CR90. But now all of a sudden you're going to get a squadron back with 8R. 10 points to let you use a squadron a second time. So in effect, it's like gaining a couple extra points. And then we get to two slightly bigger ships than the CR90. We have the Nebulan B, and both of them are support refits, and they're both equipped the same. So both of them auxiliary shields teams to kick up those side shields too. Because let's be honest, Neb B, the weakest part of it is those side shields, and those are some big arcs. And all of them with linked turbo laser towers, which is awesome when you get those front shots, because you've got your 3 red dice. You're going to be able to guarantee re-roll one. And then if you're looking to kill some unique squadrons, add 2 blacks. Then for speaking of squadrons, we have Shara Bay. Everyone loves to add Shara to a rebel squadron list when you just got a couple squadrons to play with. And Mart Matin and Sato's Hammer, so a YT 2400, which you get some beginning of the squadron phase. So let me actually read out what Mart does here. So at the start of the squadron phase, you may toggle your activation slider to the activated side. If you do, you may place 1 proximity mine token at distance 1. So again, you're dealing with him being a rogue squadron, and he's dropping prox mines. So I'm sitting here looking at this list saying, all right, you have a lot of, this is the death by 1,000 cuts. And a TRC 90, if you're firing out the front, you've got 2 reds at long range. You're going to probably con-fire, so there's a third one. There's 3 reds. One of them is guaranteed to be a double, and odds are you're going to get another 2 damage out of there. So figure with every shot you have, you're going to do 3 to 5 damage every single shot. And out the side, same thing. You're still going to be throwing 2 reds and a blue if you've got a con-fire. So that's a lot. You get plinked with 3, 4, 5 damage 5, 6 times. That eats up ships at range. And then you start getting into blue and you get more. Now you start running into the prox mines that Sabine and Sato's Hammer are dropping. And now you're just taking more damage. You're not worried about any obstruction from Jaina's Light. And then the Hammerhead, which Leia's sitting on there, and then when you're ready to really go in and hit a little bit harder, right now you use Leia, do your single command that you want to do. This is going to be nasty. It's going to be a lot of moving parts to it, so you're going to have to fly it well. But we know James is capable of doing that.
Yeah, I'm sure he's having a ton of fun with this. Especially all his proximity mine tricks, right? So he 8R, so he uses Matt to shoot and 8Rs him. And then in squadron phase, he drops his prox mine. And then Sabine drops prox mine. And then he probably uses Ezra to move those prox mines on an obstacle to hit you, right? Just to add insult to injury. And he's got rerolls for his reds. And I can imagine this is extremely aggravating to play against.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. And top that off with, because Leia's ability is, if that's the only command you're doing, you get to use the command as a dial and a token, right?
Yeah. So
and it's in like an invisible token, right? So
right. It's a lot more. So not only, so actually, let me restate my TRC thing. Not only are you gonna get the TRC, right? So you're gonna have 1 double in there. You're gonna have add a red die, and you get to re-roll one of them. So the likelihood of here, if you start doing the math, you're doing more like 4 or 5 damage per shot, and if you get really lucky, you're doing 6. And then if you manage to get an accuracy out of there, block a brace or something, you could that's going to hurt. That is going to hurt, especially if you do that.
Yeah,
It
and
is-
he's also got good obstacles too
Yeah.
for this fleet. Most wanted, Astro Tactics, and Infested Field. So most wanted, right? If you want to get hit by, what is it, 7 extra red dice,
Yeah. Is it
six extra red dice?
let's see, let me look up the specific text because it's been a while since I've looked
Yeah,
at
you add a red die
die
towards the target ship.
Yeah. Add 1 die of any color that is
Yeah.
already in the attack pool.
Oh
So,
yeah, even better.
yeah. So hit that most wanted shot. There goes your 4 or 5 damage on your TRC 90 to 5 or 6 on average.
Well, and I think that's what, he's going for with his objectives is he almost forces you to pick most wanted, which is like a bad choice, right? Like because asteroid tactics, infested fields, he's going to be able to fly those and evade your fighters, right? So he's mitigated half your your damage output, and then you're left with most wanted. And it's like you're probably if you're flying a large, that's going to be your most wanted, and he's going to get to it. He's going to be throwing 5 damage, 3 damage, 5 damage, and you're in trouble. You might get 2 CR90s. Great. He just scored 200 points, by blowing up, whatever your most valuable ship was.
Yeah.
So that's the problem with these fleets. And Garrett's right. They are so annoying to fly against because it's like swatting flies, right? They're just all over the place, and you can't, without gunnery teams or something, it's very difficult to deal with these types of fleets.
And here's the other thing I'm looking at. I'm looking at what the point cost is per ship, and they're all in the 60 to 65 range. In fact, I think the most expensive one is 66, and that's the flagship. And then your cheapest one is 54, and that's one of the CR90s with Ezra. But you're looking at 61, 61, 61, 54, 57, 66. And then when you look at your squadrons, you've got 39 points. So pretty much when you eliminate one section or one ship or all the squadrons of this fleet, all right, you get 60 points. That's enough to do, get into a 7-4 if you lose nothing.
Right.
No, that's not going to happen, right? So
Yeah.
you lose a 150, 200 point large ship, you have to pretty much take out 4 of his ships to be able to do, break even and get a 6-5. So you can afford to lose 2 CR90s, and okay, you're down 80 points, like you said, Brian. I mean, this is or 120 points, but still, you're taking something out before that happens.
Yeah, you're getting your 7-4, your 8-3 pretty reliably.
Yeah,
it's nice to see what Rebels can do when they don't bring GR75s. And you just bring a lot more firepower.
Huh.
You get
Right.
You
This
get
is a
6
lot,
activations.
actually. Yeah.
and you never want to shoot at Shara, so you're locking your squadrons down.
And listen, 4 reds with a confire dial out of the front of a Neb B sucks. Like it's a lot of dice on. I mean, that's 2 more than a lot of ships usually throw at long range, right?
Right, and you don't want to spend your brace on that, right? Like just feels bad.
That's the other thing is you never want to spend a brace with 3 or 4 damage. It's almost not worth it. 5 is where you want to start using a brace. And with the vast majority of these shots hitting in the 3 to 5 or maybe 4 to 5 range, you're burning your redirects. Yeah. This is just a mean, aggravating. I think Gary, you hit the nail on the head. This is an aggravating list.
Yeah.
Do we think that?
And
do we think that torpedo corvette is like a lifeboat?
Yeah, he's not using that.
Yeah.
It's just flying around the board.
Yeah. The only thing you're gonna be able to kill here probably is those 2 Nebula Bs and maybe his squadrons. It's reliable.
Up the squadrons, right? That's 40 something points.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then the 2 Nebulas. That's the plan.
You'll
I would
probably
take infested I would take infested fields against this.
I'd take asteroid tactics.
You're gonna let him place all the obstacles? Brave.
I'd be okay with it. I'd be
Brave.
okay with it.
I think I'm gonna go with Garrett on this one, play infested fields. He's gonna move the asteroids anyways with Ezra. or something just to irritate me. I agree with you. I think the Neb Bs are more likely to go down just because of the double brace. You can target in the side. You're gonna get enough in there, and even a handful of 5 hit shots take it down. But again, 120, 150 points is what you're going to score. With some of my current fleets that I'm flying, that's half my fleet. Two MC30s, and I've lost.
Yeah. Listen, the real answer here is I would hope I win the coin toss for my 1-point bid so I can be second player.
Yeah, and then you play second player.
Yeah, they can play into my objectives.
Yeah, so I mean, I know this is not James's alpha list or anything. We're under no belief there, but he was still able to create a troublesome list.
Yeah, and again, it exists because of our wonderful points change.
Right.
Yeah.
Because 2 onagers would wipe this thing off the board.
Or Anakin.
Yeah, just pop, 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 pop,
Yeah.
pop. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, this is kind of neat because we're seeing within a month now, because the errata came out mid-October, right?
Yeah, we're coming up on 30 days.
Yeah, month into it, and we have fleets that we have not seen for a while back in competitive status. So the MSUs are back. You're seeing, that the double largest that we saw with the previous fleet here. This is cool stuff. And
now you don't have to be able to deal with somebody throwing 8 dice at you and automatically get 16 accuracies on round 2. So it really opens up your life and how you want to play.
No, this is cool. I want to try my Draven list against it though, just to see if I get some raid tokens out on there.
Confire.
Yeah. Be almost all Confire and Nav. That'd be it.
But yeah, well, awesome job, James. Want to move on to the first place list?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yes. Okay.
That was for you, Garrett.
Yeah. So this was. Do you know his name? I just know his username here. Hegemech. Well,
I have no idea.
Congratulations, Hegemech. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. Hegemech. It's probably Hegemech. Okay. Anyways, he's got a oldie but goldie Gar list. It is Illuminara. It's double Venator, double Pelta Spats. So, yeah, let's dig into this thing. He's got a Venator 2 flagship with Luminara, Tranquility at its new 7 points, ESTs, Vet Gunners, Spats, Thermals, and XI7s. Awesome. His second Venator has got the Resolute title to generate those tokens for his refreshes. ESTs, Vet Gunners, Spats, Thermal Shields as well, and XI7s. So both got thermals. I don't know if I said thermals in the first one. And then his Peltas, he's got one with projection experts and munitions resupply. And his other Pelta, transports, 45 points. Hondo, projection experts, and parts resupply. So this is a tried and true mix of ships here. Obviously, Luminar is great with the refreshes. He's got 4 ships to play off to do it. And the Spat T's XI7s hits like a truck. And the Vet Gunners are great with blue dice. So you're probably gonna dig and get the accuracies that you wanted. Let's see what else is here. Obviously, he's got the token economy taken care of. So he can refresh his spats when he needs them each turn. And thermal shields are always great. So yeah, this is a pretty cut and dry fleet here. His objectives, so he's at 400 points, but he brought advanced gunnery, contested outposts, and infested fields. He was probably playing a lot of first player, potentially, but I don't know. It really depends on what list you're bringing of what you would choose to fight against this thing, because him last firsting you with spats can suck. But yeah, what do you think? What do you guys think? Double Venator with Lumi.
I think it's neat to see Tranquility in here and everything else still kind of equipped. I almost get the feeling like if this was a list that came out 2 months ago, it would have had a 4-point bid.
Yeah, Probably. There's not much else you can put on these, really. That's
right.
useful.
I mean, these are fully loaded Venators. I mean, maybe you have some titles on the Peltas or
Clone
never-
Captain Zach. That's what it would
yeah.
have been on there.
There you go.
To add to
There
the
you go.
spat. Yeah.
Yeah. So that there'd be a change, because that was the one thing I was trying to figure out, would be with the Tranquility upgrade going from 3 to 7, what are you taking out?
Yeah, Clone Captain Zach. My boy. Yeah. No, again, like just want to point out this top 3 lists. Where are the squadrons?
Yeah.
No squads. It's like Shara Bay and Matt Martin.
So I looked it up. His last game, he played against a Yavaris full squad rebel list, and clearly beat it, and did well. I think he got what looks like, I'm trying to do math in my head. Looks like he got like an 8.3. I'm thinking in his last game.
269 is going to be a 9-2.
Oh, that's his first round. The last round is
yeah, so it's 9-2. That would be
183.
183. That's
So that's an 8.3.
Yeah.
8.3. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was against a squad heavy list, and you kind of think about, all right, how does this take on a 5 activation rebel squad and that was Yavaris and a CR90 with a hammerhead, right? Well, XI7 spats are how you take out rebel smalls. That is awesome, because those rebel lists are annoying, as we've all said. Those rebel MSU lists, and this is the ticket, right? Throwing 6 blues, all they're ramming them all through. All right, cool. You're gonna re-roll a blue. Okay, great. It's either it's a hit or a crit, or maybe 25% chance it'll be an accuracy. So it is a great deterrent. How do you get around? How do you really get around this with spats? So it is tough. Nothing. It is actually ideally set up to take on like rebel smalls, I think. So very interesting. I love, like, one of my favorite underutilized upgrades, I believe, is XI7s, and it's just it may have a place in this meta of rebel smalls. Who knows?
Yep. Nope. Yeah, this is clean.
No real squadron defense though.
Well, double flag.
Yeah,
Pretty
that's
good.
it though. Well, don't get me wrong. Blue black against squadrons is nothing to sneeze at, but
It's
Also-
repair. That's what it is. It's repair.
that's true. You get your projection experts on both of the
Yeah.
peltas.
Right. So you're getting 4 shields back with projection experts.
Yeah.
You're getting another 6 engineering, so you get 3 shields back with repairs on the ship itself. So you're looking at 7 damage. And you can salvo them. That's
Yeah.
okay.
Well, they got ESTs. So
Oh, good
Luminar
point.
with expert shield techs, it's just a game of whack-a-mole.
Yeah.
So
Whack-a-mole.
No,
really
that's
frustrating. Like, I'm just gonna redirect, or I'm gonna EST, and then they'll attack again. They get 2, I'll brace, refresh my EST, and then just back and forth.
Yeah, I think if you don't have like real ship damage, you have to go after those peltas. I think is your only hope.
Which he's gonna keep in the back, safe.
Right, and congratulations, you spent 3 turns to get 54 points.
Yeah.
It feels bad. So it's kind of cool. It's a cool list. I think when it first, we kind of saw this iteration with Tarkin. Kind of when this first came out, this double Ven, double Pelta Tarkin Svat list. But here, I prefer Lumi, and there's enough, with parts resupply and Resolute, there's enough token stuff there to power everything for at least 3 turns, I'd say.
Yeah, Lumi's defense with EST versus squadrons is it's almost better than Pittix, honestly.
Really is.
Yeah, because you're guaranteeing eliminating a damage as opposed to forcing a reroll.
Right. And if the more you attack, like the worst part about attacking Luminara with like small squadron attacks or small ships, is like the more you attack her, it's like she gets stronger. She just keeps refreshing the tokens on other ships and her ship.
Yeah.
I mean, this fleet does great against onagers, right? With the thermal shields and you're repairing all that. Like,
Well, any big ship, really. SSDs, ISDs, the thermals come in clutch. And then Lumi just, the more you shoot her, the more she refreshes that thermals.
very interesting call. Well, I'll have to see if there's any copycats to this. It's an interesting meta call to me.
Definitely tanky.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't know. This has been a pretty common archetype for a while.
That's
But
true. That's true.
It kind of
With
it went
Anakin.
away because Plo and then Anakin,
That's
Plo
true.
and Bale were really popular. But I think Lumi's fighting her way to the top here. She's really good. Like, and combining it with things that amplify the defense tokens like thermals, EST, Luminar really shines.
I'm picking contested outpost, running all my ships at Lumi, and just concentrating firepower on it.
Yeah.
And then when I lose with the 10-1 because I got tabled trying to do that, I'll know to not do that a second time. What about you guys?
I guess I would take Infested Fields again. I don't know. I'm split between contested and infested. I don't feel strongly about either one. Maybe contested, because Venators aren't invincible. Like, if you have enough firepower and they're in an awkward spot, you can overwhelm it.
I'm gonna go off the wall here, but I in
Advanced.
most fleets, I think I take advanced gunnery. You know,
That's
the front arc of a Venator is not that powerful, you know.
but twice in a row.
Twice in a row hurts, but you're looking at 12 dice over that, you know.
With
And
XI7.
right, but you're looking at a ship that's probably what, 250 points,
Yeah.
you know? So you just YOLO right into that Ven 2, throw everything you got at it and hope you get it. And then you get a big win and you fly off. You know, this fleet's not great at chasing.
No.
You know, the SFAT doesn't help that, but really other than the SFAT, it can't really chase you. Just YOLO in, take out Lumi, and you know, fly away after that. I kind of think advanced gunners.
400 points, though. Again, I mean, he's my 1 point. I'm taking second.
We just talked about giving first player to SFATs. Like, I don't know.
It'll be okay. Well, see, you just said it. The Venators are not great at chasing or maneuvering. You can really outmaneuver a Venator pretty easy.
You can out deploy him here, you know.
Yeah, you're gonna be able to move around him. You're gonna. The biggest weakness with this is he's gonna have a really hard time getting both of his Venators to get enough firepower on you at the same round.
Right.
Usually, he's gonna have one ship that's positioned well.
This is like the right balance, because like I have faced a version of this fleet with Anakin though, right? And it's like that fixes the firepower problem that we were just talking about with Lumi.
Old Anakin or new Anakin?
Old Anakin.
Yeah. Okay.
But this seems like a good balance, right? It has a lot going for it, but doesn't have everything going for it.
Yeah. Still good though.
Yeah.
I'm gonna agree with you, Ryan. Go in, take out a Venator, or at least try. You're dealing with spats, XI7s, and everything else, but at the end of the day, even with Luminara, you have a brace and a redirect, and that's it. I mean, you have the salvo in the contain, but you got ways around the contain. And then in terms of the salvo, it's like, all right, fine, you can salvo me, or you get your brace or a redirect. Otherwise, you're not getting Luminara's effect. So you're thinking twice before you're spending one of your tokens as Luminara. So
it's gonna be real sad when they put 7 shields back up, but
yeah, that's the one downside is you have to get in and hit it really hard, and you have to kill it. Otherwise, you're going to have it down to like 1 health, no shields, and then before you activate again, it's got 8 more hauled. You know, more hauled. You've got all your shields back up, and then you got to go through the whole thing again.
Right. You need a haymaker in your fleet. If you don't have a
Yeah.
haymaker in your fleet, don't bother. And that's
Yeah.
fine.
And both Vens are juicy. Kind of want to go for the Tranquility just because the extra points now, but still, that's just now you've got a built-in redirect, so that'd be harder to use. I think you got to take Resolute out first.
Yeah, all depends on where they deploy him, I guess.
And you could out deploy them. It's only 4 deployments, so
Yep.
almost all fleets should out deploy this. So
yeah,
great job, Hedge Mech. Sorry we don't know your real name, but congratulations on winning the Liverpool Store Championship. Well, hopefully we can see you at Worlds.
Heck yeah! Congrats.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that is a good mini pod. I think we're all done, and we're gonna keep watching to see what else comes up. We are in the thick of Store Championship season.
There's so many.
I mean, like every week there's like 2 or 3. I think it's just overwhelming. So, but if you want to follow along, you can follow Ion Radio, any of the various Discords. You got the Tater Facebook page. You got our. You can find us anywhere at any command stack pod, music player. So please subscribe, like. We appreciate all the feedback. We do read it. So if you make a comment, we will read it. We may not, well, hopefully it's a good comment, but we will read it even if it's bad. So if you want to leave a bad comment, we will read it. But just 5 stars. So
Yeah, leave
if
reviews.
you leave a bad one,
Like and subscribe.
yeah, like and subscribe, 5 stars. Write whatever you want. The algorithms can't can't read it, right? I don't know.
I'm seeing this now.
I don't know.
5 stars, worst podcast.
We'll take it.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, I'm not the hype guy. I'm not the hype guy. We just have fun doing this, everybody. So
We do. We hope everyone had fun listening.
But we are. I know we're all going to be involved in some store championships, so we might even cover some that we're in. I know I was just in one the other day, and I think you guys have one coming up. So stay tuned. We might hear about our own experiences in some tournament play.
Yeah. Well, thanks for listening to us. We are Command Stack, and I'm Ryan.
And I'm Ken.
And I'm Garrett.
Thanks for listening, everybody.